Hey, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend fans, we are back for another week. This week we finally get to go to Raging Waters after what seems like forever of talking about it. Greg really isn't all in, and Rebecca's kind of having some regression. We're going to talk all about it in just a second.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Of course, get it. She stole his brand for this.
I like that she had a British accent too.
I mean, look at this. Get it. Okay. All right. Let's go. Hey. Hey.
How can you guys not love this song?
I honestly forgot this song.
Special request. He was jamming earlier.
Tehran was so adamant that we open with this song.
I have no voice right now, but I will tell you this, that song was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're going to ask us our overall thoughts. This was amazing. That's all I'm going to say.
Done.
Thank you guys for joining us here today for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I know the Super Bowl is on, so some of you may not be live, but we appreciate you whether it's live or not. I am your host, Briana Phipps, and I am joined by my two beautiful men with me as always, except for Nino. You weren't here last week,
Sorry
but
about
you're
that.
back.
I'm back, a little hungover, but I'm okay. It was my birthday. Thanks for the well wishes. I know some of you guys DM me. I appreciate that. It's your boy Nino, and I'm ready to talk about this because I really like this episode.
He actually went on a Rebecca binge.
I did what I did.
3 drinks in, he was gone.
Yeah.
That's what
And he's
happens
not
when-
even Jewish.
I'm not
That's
even
what happens
Jewish.
as you get older. The less
Yeah.
drinks hits you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm Tehran, but I just want to let you know, I'm not sad. You're sad. I'm not sad. You're sad.
So this week we got a regression from Rebecca. She kind of
Yeah.
fell backwards in her therapy and in her development with her BPD. Paula is having also not taking
Issues.
issues. She's not taking care of herself. So we're going to talk all about that. Plus, we're going to get into our Rebecca Bunch Crazy Mirror later in the show. We're going to talk about the songs as well as some news that just got dropped on us too. So you're going to want to stick around for that. But before all of that, and I know you kind of already said it, but what was your overall thoughts on the episode?
Love this episode. This was the meat that I wanted. And I know you guys talked about last week. You felt like last week was a filler, and I felt the same situation. I felt this one had substance. It was good. I dug it. I love the song. I loved his favorite song as well, too. The Bruce Springsteen, I Hate Everything. A lot of emotions. I dig it.
This episode was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen better, episodes that were filler. This is exactly what every episode needs to be the last season.
Amen.
It pushed along the plot line. It was juicy. It was good. Even the songs were amazing. All 3 songs were pertinent, important, fun, good. Darkness. I don't even like Darkness. I don't even like Looking Under My Bed. It was a great song. Bruce Springsteen. Who is that? It's freaking Rockstar. That's who. And it was just great. And I'm Not Sad, You're Sad is like, it was captivating.
It's your anthem.
It was, here we get the Rebecca who we've known. These are character developments. We get a heart attack. Paula dies. Spoiler alert, Paula dies. I can't even, of course, sure, she makes it to the next episode. But she's dead on the inside, okay? I'm not sad. You're sad.
Yeah, I think this is the episode we've been waiting for,
Yeah.
that we've been wanting and saying we've been wanting. So I'm glad
100%.
we've got it. I'm hoping that we continue along this for the future episodes as well. I love that they showed her kind of falling backwards because it would have been so unrealistic for her just to keep getting better.
Yeah.
Because in anything, whether it be drug addiction, alcohol, there's usually a fall off. We've seen it with Greg too. He had fall offs before, so I'm glad that they did that with her as well.
We mentioned this. We predicted it a couple of weeks ago, saying that this is probably going to happen. When it's going to happen, hopefully soon, and I'm glad it did.
We said exactly at Raging Waters.
Did we say exactly
No, we
at
did
her
not.
Paris? At her Paris?
I forgot that they actually filmed at Raging Waters. She did tweet out about it because she tweeted Raging Waters like being like, how can't we film there, like something like that, and then they let her film there because all of her fans kind of backed her on it, but I forgot that they did. So
Great promotion.
And
for her.
they've talked about Raging Waters like
From the get. Yeah.
I think every single season so far they've had a Raging Waters mention, so it only makes sense to actually eventually visit there. So I was glad that they did that as well. But let's get into it. So with Rebecca and Greg's storyline, so we start off where Greg's kind of telling her we haven't really been taking things slow.
Yeah, they're spending every single minute together.
But he seems kind of okay with it, doesn't he?
I'm
Like he's
not
saying
sad.
it.
You're sad.
He seems okay because he just wants it to be okay, but I don't think he's really okay with it. He's sad. He's mad. He hates it.
It's not that he hates it. Everyone needs space. Everyone needs time. Greg's working on himself as well. Let's not forget that just because he seems so put together and we like this new actor and how he looks and his hair never, ever, ever moves. It's amazing. Like, he was in Raging Waters, came out and his hair was still perfect. He's just so likable. He's such a likable guy. Even when he's clearly being the like Debbie Downer, he's still so likable. I'm like, hey Rebecca, be nice to him. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah.
Well, I think these scenes that we got this episode with him and her kind of really showed that he's had years where he's been going to the meetings, getting help
Consistently.
And she's kind of in the beginning of it because he's very much more equipped to handle these things.
Yeah, he's done it consistently, and he knows that there's going to be fallbacks. And with her actually hitting her problem head on just last season and this season or whatnot, like you said, she's super new to it, thinking that she's okay and everything's fine because she's now in this beautiful, serene utopia.
She also hasn't murdered anyone lately, so
right,
Or
attempted to murder anybody. Exactly.
Lately. So that's a good sign. She's making progress.
She's living this utopia because Greg and her are happy right now.
Well, then she makes the decision because she's in this utopia and she loves Raging Water. It's her Paris. We've heard this from her before and forward that she really wants to go. He kind of lets her know right from the get-go it's not my thing. But he goes anyway for her because she wants to go so badly. And we kind of also find out that she hasn't been going to therapy, that she hasn't been going to group, that she hasn't been doing the workbooks. And everybody's a little worried about her.
Yeah.
As they should be. A lot of people don't realize it's almost like when you're sick. And I know, like, my voice is raspy right now. I lost it. But when people are sick, they take medicine. And as soon as they start feeling better, they stop taking their medicine. Right. No, there's a reason why there's 20 pills in that prescription bottle. You need to take all 20. It's because it'll continue. And even though you feel better, you can go right back to feeling sick. It's not over. You're just out of the dark water, deep waters right now. And Rebecca isn't perfect. Obviously, every week we keep her crazy meter to the point where at one week we're like, why do we even have this anymore, right? Well, this is the thing. She's holding it back. She's repressing a lot of things. She's not getting into the habits, the good habits she was building. She's forgoing all her therapy, and that's not a healthy place to be. And I don't know if Greg and her make it. I don't know if they make it after this, because if I'm Greg, I'm like, I'm dealing with my own stuff, and now you're doing this.
I was saying the same thing, and we're probably going to talk about this in predictions later. I don't want her to be with anyone after this, at the end of the season, later on.
I mean, I do. I actually wanted her to be with all three. I wanted her to hook up with Greg, and then go to Nathaniel's, and hook up with
Monday,
Nathaniel,
Wednesday, Friday,
and then
Tuesday,
be like, yo, what's up, Josh? You live here. It's convenient, bro.
Well, I mean, I think that it's very telling, though, for him to kind of throw those things out to her.
Yeah.
And the way she reacted to them. Because the way we've seen Rebecca react lately has been very mature, has been very like, wait, let me take a second, let me think. And in this episode, we got a lot of reaction.
Yeah, because she usually gives a little bit of crazy, then she backtracks and she does the right thing. This time she went in that whole spiral
she gave
situation.
herself to the crazy.
Well,
she gave herself to the crazy.
Well, let's get into the reason why she kind of started spiraling.
Yeah.
So she went to her Paris, and I told this to you before the show, but I don't think whatever Greg did, unless he was 150% on board with every single thing at Raging Waters, that she would have been happy with his reaction.
She was upset. And on top of that, she didn't understand the value that Greg is saying. I don't like anything but you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it shows a lot, too, because I've been in this situation before where I had really high expectations for going to, like, a theme park with a significant other, and it didn't turn out the way...
you, I'm sorry. Why do you bring that up every time you get a chance?
Look, you never actually said sorry.
Listen, let me explain to you. Williamsburg is not an amusement park, okay? I don't care about people just dressing up like George Washington. As a black person, that brings me back bad memories.
Dad.
But the thing is that she had really such high expectations for it that, and he had told her, he was so upfront with her, like, I'm not into this, but I'm gonna go for you.
Yeah.
And then,
He had a whole song about it.
but even before then, he's like, okay, I'll go for you. And then it was like, okay, I'll go on a ride for you.
You could tell he was being reluctant, but he still went.
And unless he was like having the best time of his life, just like she was going to be upset by it.
Yeah. In your situation, when it didn't work out the way you wanted to, how did you react?
I mean, I was upset with it at first. And then when I had more time to think about it, I was like, that's because my expectations were higher than what they should have been. Like, I can't force someone else to have an experience that I want them to have.
But that happens all the time. Have you ever like been watching a movie and the other person's not paying as much attention? You're like, yo, this
Get
is
it.
the pause it. Oh, you're going to the bathroom? You need to use the bathroom now?
Right.
We just used the bathroom?
Yeah.
Right.
When we
That's what you
introduce
do?
someone to something that we
Yeah.
love, we want them to have the same reaction that we
Exactly.
have, but that's just not life.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen every time.
That was like me watching movies with like my parents when I was younger, and then they would ask questions every single time because they weren't paying attention. I'm just like, you're not loving this as much as I am, and I want you to.
Yeah.
I really want you to. But like you said, you can't force anybody to do it, but you also have to listen to what they're trying to say and what they're trying to.
Not legally.
show
You can't force
You
anything.
can't, right? Not legally. Okay, not
I
legally.
learned that, and it's actually, I guess, tying to a chair is illegal.
But if she had focused more on the fact that he was trying and he was
Yes,
making this
exactly.
effort for her.
If she saw all those signs and whatnot, I mean, he specifically told her.
Would you have appreciated it? Honestly. Then put
That him
yourself
going?
Sure.
I mean, I think
Not at that
looking
moment.
back, not in that moment, but I
Yeah.
think looking back on it, if you know someone, if someone from the get-go tells you this isn't my thing, I don't want to go, you should go with your friends, then
Yeah,
go with
just
people
don't
that are
go,
gonna
right?
have fun. Just don't go with the person that's gonna put, because it does
Exactly.
suck to go to something that you love and the other person's not having fun, because then you're not having fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then just don't go with that person.
Right, but your reaction was way different from hers afterwards because hers.
My reaction wasn't even like hers in the moment.
Yeah.
It was like I was let down, but then after like one day I was like, okay.
Yeah, because she acted like such a brat. The way she handled it, because it's not only was she a brat about it, she tried to make him feel bad about it. Like, you just hate everything. You don't. And I understand this is maybe a projection of her BPD, because I'm not sad you're sad. But the concept was she made him feel bad about it. Like, and here he is trying. And one thing, Greg was extremely patient. He never got
yeah.
angry. He never got frustrated. He never got mad. He tried. He even went on a ride after saying, I don't go on rides. I don't go on rides.
But I'll do this.
But
because
I'll do that.
you want me to.
Exactly.
And I think that goes to show you how his progression is with his therapy and the groups that he goes through and whatnot. I think that's made him a better person.
Well, and I like that he kind of lays it out for her. He's like, look, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not punching walls anymore, but I'm still me.
Yeah.
I'm still who I am.
Still Greg, man.
And you can't, if you're not okay with that, then you're not okay with me. And he like lays it out too. He's like, have you been going to therapy? I don't, like, if I don't go to these meetings, I start getting self-conscious about
regress.
things. And I start taking things personally because I don't have an outlet.
Yeah.
And then instead of her being like, oh yeah, you're right, she blows up and
Right.
like kind of.
Which is great. I love that for the storyline because then that shows people who are going through this whole situation or whatnot that there are going to be those moments and you're going to have these slip ups and you're going to have people trying to reach out to you and you're not going to take it. But at the end of the day, hopefully something will come around and it'll all come together or whatnot. So it's cool that they actually portrayed it the way they portrayed it versus.
Well, for her, she didn't. It didn't come all back together right away for her, and she
No,
didn't
which
figure
one?
it out. She drank 3 drinks,
Oh, yeah.
got very drunk, went to Nathaniel's house,
Man, when she turned that corner and I saw that brick wall and the 37, I was like, oh, here we go.
and she proceeds to try to,
I'm not sad you're sad.
and then she gets rejected
Yeah. Because
Does she, though?
by Nathaniel.
She doesn't really get rejected. What I think is she gets respected. And I think people need to understand the difference of
yes.
that.
True, I like that.
Because the one thing, Nathaniel, this is something that he wants, something that he wants her to, but then when he sees this, he's like, no, you need to go. And that takes a level of not only just self-control, but self-awareness that I didn't know Nathaniel had until this episode. So these changes that Nathaniel's been actually going through is something that's relevant and is very real. Why? Because the old Nathaniel might have taken advantage of this situation, but this self-aware Nathaniel, the one who's self-respecting and respects others and respected her in that moment. Like, I like you so much, I won't do this.
Right.
I like that.
I
That's
like
a good
that a lot,
way to
actually.
put it. But in her mind, it was still a rejection.
Right.
Yeah, because
You're
it
right,
was.
definitely.
I mean, burp, burp, burp,
Yeah.
boom, blocked. Like,
Let me call you an Uber,
you go in there
bye-bye.
like, yo, I'm drunk, I'm trying to
I mean, and this
she's
is
like,
classic
"No."
Rebecca. I don't get what I want in one thing. I go to another place. I don't get what I want with that. I'm going to go to another
Right.
place because I need that validation. And so she goes to Josh.
Same situation.
Same situation. Starts giving back rubs. Starts trying, and then also gets respected. Well, I'm gonna use that.
No. Josh was self-serving. Josh is like, yo, we're
For
roommates.
a minute.
Yeah, he's like,
he retracted and respected.
because he's like, whoa, we're roommates. This is not a good idea. And he kissed back. Nathaniel pushed off
That's
the kiss
true.
completely. Nathaniel,
But I still think there was a
Josh
level
kissed
of,
and then
but there's still a level of respect because a different
Yeah, of
Josh
course.
would have still
Oh, yeah.
I don't
taken
know.
advantage
I feel
I
like-
completely.
think both of those characters would have still season 2.
But then Josh would have still blamed her
Yeah,
afterwards.
Josh, I don't feel like Josh would have done it, but the old Nathaniel would have.
So she goes through all these things, and then she kind of comes to that realization after Josh has that talk with her that
I'm not sad, you're sad.
I do have some, like, I need to go to my groups and stuff. And she goes straight to her, and I'm blanking on his name.
Dr. Shin.
Dr.
Thank you.
Shin.
And what has been told to her before by Dr. Copian is that we think it's time to explore medication at this point.
Yeah.
And she 100% does not want to, because she associates medication with these sad, dark times in her life.
Yeah, but they were probably the wrong medication for her because she didn't have a diagnosis at that time. So, which is another great like social issue to talk about. When people think of depression pills or antidepressants or whatnot, it's such a negative stigma to the situation because people feel like I'm on antidepressants, then I'm going to take these other things and these other things, and I'm just going to go spiraling down a hole that I'm never going to get out of or whatnot. But when the doctors start talking about, we could fix your prescription, we have a way for it to work out for you in your favor, as long as we know that it's borderline personality disorder. When they didn't know, they were just giving her pills.
Well, and it is a thing where now we've come a long way.
A long way.
Where it did used to be that it was almost like, let's numb you.
They used
Yeah.
to give you ecstasy at some point. Like, let's
There's
be
a
real.
great musical called Next to Normal out there that it's just that. It's like there's this whole song where she's taking all these different pills. They're trying different things. And then when she says she doesn't feel anything, that's when they're like, okay,
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And that used to be the norm. It was like, because if someone's suicidal, if someone's super depressed, like having them feel nothing is better.
Than having crazy thoughts or whatnot.
But we've
That's
come.
how I feel about Rent Live, by the way.
A little plug that
Not
in.
having it at all would have been better.
But we've come such a long way that now, at least good doctors
Right.
don't do that. They are actually trying to find ways to help you cope in your normal life while still being yourself.
I had a recent, with my ACL surgery, I was actually taking pain pills. And I was supposed to take them for like 2 weeks. And after the first day or two, I just couldn't. I did not like the way they made me feel. And I was ready and willing to just have the pain and not take pain pills. Because we forget medication isn't always just, oh, look, I have a headache, I take a pill, and now it's gone. The side effects are horrible sometimes, how they make you feel, especially when you're talking about therapeutic medication. Some of those are very powerful medications that can make you feel horrible. And I can only imagine what she's gone through, taking wrong medication after wrong medication, not feeling like herself, feeling like a zombie.
I think it was PTSD for her. Like after all the different types she's had. I mean, I would be scared too after remembering the effects that it's brought, it's given me, and the things that I did wrong while I was on medication. Plus, she had that suicide attempt on the plane.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a traumatic experience for her with these before. So I understand her reluctance. But and that's why it's so important to be honest with your doctor about like how you're feeling on these medications, and so they can readjust them. But she's very against it at this point, and she kind of just walks out of the room. She's not going to deal with this.
Yeah.
So, well, before we get to the end of her story, though, I do want to shout out all of our fans that watch us every week. We really appreciate you guys. You guys help us do everything that we love to do here. But some ways that you can help us back too in a little bit more way is commenting on our videos, commenting on our iTunes, giving us a 5-star rating on iTunes, giving us that thumbs up and subscribing to our YouTube. It really does help not just our channel, but our network as a whole. If you watch Sci-Fi, Tehran does Young Justice, and Supergirl, that channel is great too. Go and whichever ones you watch, go ahead and like those ones and comment below. We love hearing from you guys. AfterBuzz has created such a great community for all of us to come together, be able to talk about these shows, but also I think to kind of have these lifelong friendships that we've been able to create through here as well.
Yeah, well, no, first chance when I leave here, I don't know any of you, but yeah, like.
This it's been great over here. So we would love for you guys to go ahead and share, help us keep this going by subscribing and letting us know how we're doing, basically.
Especially every show that I'm on, please. And
he's on a lot of shows, guys.
5 stars and leave a good comment. And if you don't want to leave a good comment and you want to say negative things, well then, don't.
DM him.
Don't do that. Just don't do that. Don't be that bad. No one likes that guy. No one likes.
Seriously, guys, we really do appreciate it, and you help us do what we love to do every day, and keep doing that and keep being a part of our conversations.
I'm not sad. You're sad.
Let's get into Paula's storyline, because Paula's also kind of going through this whole thing where she's, and I see this all the time, a lot of times with women, but also with men, where I don't have time to take care of myself. I need to go. I need to do all these things because nobody else can do it. And that's kind of where Paula's at. She's not going to let anybody else do all of these millions of things that she has to be in the corner to do. She's going to take it all on instead, even if it means killing herself, basically.
Yeah, I feel like this might be a play on Rachel's actual life, because she co-writes, she produces, and she directs sometimes. She does all this stuff for the show, and it's just ongoing. Imagine for 4 seasons, just ongoing. I feel like that's
She
almost
actually
like...
had a heart attack is a little known fact.
You stop it.
No.
Stop
That was
it.
actually written into the show.
But yeah, I'm just like, I think like it mirrors her pretty well, and how they showed that, and how Paula's just, I mean, she has a lot going on.
Yeah,
especially with the bar.
She's studying for the bar. She's trying to still take on all these cases that were Rebecca's for doing free of charge. She is still doing her normal paralegal job, as well as being a mother at home, as well as taking care of her husband. She's got a lot.
Yeah.
I think, okay, the past couple episodes, Paula has been so pointless that I was just glad. I mean, yeah, she had to die for us to care, but I needed Paula back. Like, I like Paula.
We all love Paula.
Paula's such the mom on the show, and for her to have been gone for so long, it was like, why are they doing this to us? And now they brought her back, and it's relevant, and it's real. And you know what? They didn't just say heart attack. The best part was they began it with the diagnosis of menopause, which is something that a lot of women, especially in that mid-range age, because you're thinking menopause is something that happens to your grandmother. But no, it's something that happens, and it can begin as early as in your 30s. And it's something that a lot of us women don't discuss. We don't talk about these things, about going to the gyno, and people just suggesting it. I like that conversation they had.
It also brings up which I've done myself, not to this extent, but where you come up with excuses, like you feel the pain, or you're
but you'll take care of it later.
Yeah, or you throw it out. Oh, it must be this. It must be that. It's nothing that I have to go to the doctor for.
Right.
Until you have to go.
Self-diagnose yourself until you're in the ER.
Yeah, if you WebMD, like every week you're dead. Yeah, you're dying. So, like, the fact that they brought up, and the symptoms. First of all, I didn't understand how no one just thought it was the flu. Like,
because she was overheating. She had a fever.
Well,
she was sweating.
Just been like,
but I think that it was her actions. It was her saying, like, I've got a lot going on.
Sure, but someone should have been like, oh my God, don't get me sick. You're sick. People are just normal around her.
They've been seeing her drink these huge cups of coffee. I think they're just thinking she's tired, she's worn out.
I would have been like, she's like, hey, I would have been like, don't touch me. You're the Ebola virus right now. Like, please don't touch me. So the fact that they jumped to menopause to heart attack was, I thought they should have started out with like a disease, like, oh, you have, TB, something.
TB. Something small.
Well, they did. I mean, that's the thing. I thought it was going to be something, but it jumped right to milky white throw up and heart attack.
But, well, I mean, thankfully she has Scott, because Scott makes her go to the doctor.
Love Scott.
Was this his last episode?
This is his last episode, yeah.
That's crazy.
He tweeted out that
they're going to end him just like that.
He died. He dies. He actually literally died. Why?
But he makes her go, and then we find out that it's that she's had, like, the doctor's like, I'm pretty sure you're having a heart attack, and we found out that she had a blockage for 18 hours that she was walking around with.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she gets put on a very strict diet.
Salad
and a
without
rest.
potato in front of it.
Also, when Rebecca was like, "Oh, but you can have croutons and bacon," so I was like, I'm not sure that's the kind of salad that the doctors want her to be eating
definitely
right now.
not.
Croutons, yeah.
No.
I don't think they want her to add the unhealthy things you can add to salad.
We're not dripping ranch all over this situation.
It's probably like
You're not eating a pizza salad? No, that's not.
it's like oil and vinegar, maybe the littlest amount of salt because you don't want a lot of salt.
No oil.
She had an
No vinegar.
18-hour blockage.
You're right, vinegar
No
would be
salt.
some.
No,
So what
this is-
dressing is she putting
So
on this?
there is
Lemon.
there is no dressing. There's lemon juice.
Lemon
and here's
juice,
the thing about this. There's a lot of things also in that salad that she cannot have. And those are the things that people don't realize, the health restrictions that come along with not only just age, but when you have these situations, people need to realize that there are communities that are prone to having problems with high cholesterol and that lead to heart attacks. And heart attacks are not a joke. And Paula was very lucky because she was at the right place at the right time. 18-hour blockage is a long time.
Somebody would have died.
People have 10-minute blockages and end up hemorrhaging and dying. So this is something we need to talk about more because we as a society never want to talk about ailments. We don't want to talk about sickness. We don't want to talk about death. We change the channel even when these things are brought up in a non-comedic way because we don't want to face our own mortality. And Paula, especially a person who work is a workaholic. Her birds are out of the nest and now she has even less to do, so she wants more to do. She didn't even know how to be in her bed where she's like, oh, they just want me to actually lay here. That's what.
Yeah, she has a problem with vulnerability. She
or not working. It's not even.
Or
just
not
I think a
working.
lot of
Not
people do
working.
though.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's a fear because you don't want to feel like you'll become irrelevant. You don't want. It's a nice feeling to think that things can't run without you.
Yeah.
And if you find out they can, I think that's kind of a scary thing to people.
Or like when you know that something's
agree.
wrong with you and you know that there's going to be some sort of diagnosis or whatnot, you always try to mask it because you don't want to hear it. You don't want to have to deal with it.
It's like it happens all the time. It actually happened, I think, to my great grandfather, where it's like you put off going to the doctor because you don't want to hear the bad news.
Yeah.
And like for my grandfather, it ended up being an ulcer and it killed him because he didn't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And it would have been something so simple to fix, but he was so afraid it was cancer that he didn't go.
My dad did the same thing. He had like this 103+ fever for 3 days straight. And I remember calling him and saying, you need to go to the doctor. He was like, no, I'm okay. It's gone now. Like 4 or 5 days in,
Yeah.
ER, sepsis attack. Like he was just like, oh, no, I'm okay. Everything's fine.
Yeah, especially when you have insurance. Like, utilize. That's why you have it. I understand you don't want to hear this news, but it's important. Your health is important. Like, if you don't have insurance, like I remember when I didn't have insurance and I went there and they were like, "Oh, you have cancer," and I was like, "Can't afford cancer," so they just changed it to cold. That was. They just told me I had a cold after that, and that was fine.
No, but it is a real thing too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
with insurance, even if you have insurance, the hospital stay, if you have to be overnight, like it's so expensive
It piles up.
insurance
It's-
doesn't
Because they were like, she
cover
needs to
it.
stay there for a couple of days, and I was like, what is that bill?
And if if she had taken an ambulance, like it's people don't go because they can't afford it, and it's
Yeah.
like death almost is better to them than having to pay these bills.
It's cheaper. There's been times where, I'm not saying I want to die, but I've been broke enough where I wanted to get into a little fender bender where it wasn't my fault. And I could just ask the guy, like, oh, I'm fine. Can I get that insurance?
He's going to try to retract this like 10 years later.
But I mean,
But it's a serious thing, and it is something that I'm glad they talked about, and it is something to know. Like you can't eat donuts every day and
Yeah.
just be unhealthy. Like it is
You
something.
can't pound.
that's what I do,
know.
but thanks.
You can't pound all that excess.
I mean,
It's
you
too much.
can, but there's probably going to be ramifications at some point in your life because of it.
Right, and here it is.
I mean, it's even,
I lost
and
my
it's not
voice.
just people that are overweight that have to like think about it. It's like there's so many people that are very skinny that eat terribly.
Okay,
yeah.
stop looking at me. Okay, I eat not the best, but it's delicious. And when I die, I'll understand.
Well, I just wanted to bring up because it is a stigma, I think, in especially our culture that if you're thin, you're healthy, and that's not always true.
Right.
That's not always true.
And especially like you're looking at Paula, her character, like the actress actually has been losing weight this season, so it was interesting to
How
have
it
it happen
happened.
at a time where she's actually probably
And her healthiest.
at her healthiest. Yeah, and then that kind of makes Rebecca, because Rebecca's by her side, and she's kind of like, I need you to take care of yourself.
Thank
Like I can't
goodness.
lose you, and that kind of makes her think.
There's
I
the
need to take care of
parallel right
myself.
there, right? Exactly. She's like, you need to take these pills. You need to take your time and whatnot, and then it just brings it back to her. And
You have to do what the doctor says, even if you don't like
Yeah.
what he's saying.
and it's always easier to give the give this advice rather than taking it. So it's nice to see that she actually took her own advice.
What would have been crazy is if they were like, the cause of this was for pretzels. Do you eat pretzels every day?
I was gonna say that she flawlessly stepped into this like unk job where she just has no issues really being an owner and boss.
Oh yeah, there's this whole episode where pretzels wasn't talked about at all. Like nothing came up.
She wasn't even there. She doesn't even. She's so
She
high up
doesn't need
now.
to go in. She just
makes
goes
so
right
much
to
money.
Waters.
Yeah.
But then we kind of get to the end of the episode where she lets Greg know, I do need a break.
Yeah.
I need
Good
some
for her.
space, and I'm sorry. And then she opens up her workbook, and so she takes her medication. So we know she's now realized that it's not just a steady incline. And once you feel better, you can't just like stop doing everything.
You're always gonna have to progress all the time.
Do either of you guys have anything else you want to add on this episode before we get into our segments?
You know what I think we really should talk about? I'm not sad, you're sad. Can we talk about that in any moment?
We will in our
I'm just waiting for us to talk about
He's
something
excited.
important,
Excited.
which is how good this episode was, how it actually was relevant, and how every episode they could have had this season should have been, could have been, and would have been like this had they just given it the time that they needed to.
Let's get into it.
We've gotten there. So let's get into these songs for this episode. So our first song that we get is this Bruce Springsteen, I Hate Everything But You from Skylar Astin.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this song?
Yeah, I hate everything but this song. Listen, it was a good song. It was cool. I'm not sad, you're sad.
I like this song. I like this song. I like that it was a little bit more theatrical, because a lot of things that they've had have been really just like not dumbed down, but it's been a little bit more quiet, or there hasn't been too much of crazy antics or whatnot. This is in a water park. He's
And I
having a
know
concert
you
for
love
her.
this song, Brie.
It wasn't my favorite of the episode, but I did like it. I liked that it paralleled kind of the I could if I wanted to in a way.
Okay.
It's still that angstiness.
I actually, I really personally related to the song because I
hate everything?
I do feel like I get annoyed by a lot of things.
What of this song, like, was there one standout thing that he hated that you're like, oh,
The one-liner? I don't know. He did a lot of things.
Because I hate shampoo and conditioner mixed together.
Oh, like the
It's
two-in-one?
thing.
Yeah, well, he
I'm not
says
with
that.
this one.
He said a lot of different things that he hated.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. What was the one that stood out to you guys?
I don't know if there was one
He
that stood out to
mentioned
me.
something about phone calls, and I hate phone calls. But that's the only.
Like, you hate getting on the phone?
Yeah, I hate when people call me.
Do you hate when white girls call their engagement rings bling?
Yes, that's actually a thing. That's a good point. That's a good one. I actually agreed with most of the things that he hated. I don't hate amusement parks. They're fun. I wouldn't go, especially if they're crowded. That would annoy me. But like the lines and all the stuff, I mean, I really agreed with most of the stuff. And I thought it was really sweet. He said, I hate everything but you.
Yeah.
Like, I hate everything but you. And for you, because I like you so much,
Yeah.
I'm willing to do stuff outside of my personal comfort zone.
It was basically him screaming, saying, I'm here for you, and I want to be here for you.
Yeah, and it was a very nice way to do it. And my personal thing, like if I'm in a relationship, I hate everything. And even the person, I'm not willing to do anything outside of my comfort zone. So for him to have done it, I thought was a lot. Maybe that's why I make such a big deal of the fact that he did something he didn't like to do.
I mean,
because I rarely do things.
I thought it was a good song, and I think that they did a great job of the Bruce
Great job.
Springsteen feel.
Oh, yeah.
Down from
And
the
look,
outfit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that he actually couldn't play the guitar. It was funny, but it was also really good. And then let's get into our next song, which was
Say it.
I'm not sad. You're sad.
She stole his looks, his whole brand
Listen,
image.
I
For
love this song.
That
was
is you
so
right there on the screen right
creative.
now.
It was so fun. She made it very English Euro pop. She based it on this whole like Spice Girls, Iggy Azalea, like every single one of them that
Mixed together.
it's so. And then the I sniff ibuprofen.
That surprised me. I was like, oh, that went on on 9 o'clock. What time are they on? 9 o'clock
Of all the
on
things they do,
CW.
nothing. I mean, she didn't actually do cocaine.
I know.
And then look, I like the fur jacket look a little better, but just everything like street taco, Just get out here.
You love this
song.
song.
I just like this
I think
song.
it was a very true song because when you're feeling down, like, and sometimes you twist it and make it anger instead because you're upset, and that's 100% like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna show Greg. I'm gonna go sleep with Nathaniel, and he loves me. Like, and that was, I feel like, the essence of this song.
Oh yeah.
I just like the chorus. I'm not sad you're sad. I can actually remember those lines. It was brilliant. It just encompasses so many
Her
things.
angst was real.
She cut in the line. It was funny. It was entertaining. It was fun. And this is what I want from these songs.
Except for Lilo and Stitch. Like, I didn't love that film.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole
love that
point.
film?
No one loves that film.
I thought it's an okay film, but it's not like a standout Disney film
You're
to me. I
just
know
a
other
hater.
people love it.
You're just
but
a horrible person. Because it's Lilo and Stitch. Like, everyone loves that film. No one loves that film. That's why her making it such a big deal. It's just like, yo, didn't you like Lilo and Stitch? It's just such a
This moment
random
right
thing.
here, though, she turns a corner, and I was like, here we go with Nathaniel type situation.
For you audio listeners, it's when she turns into the apartment building area of the music video. And if you guys want to know, when we talk about these, we just have the B-roll of the music video playing in the background. So if you ever just kind of want to see what we're talking about at that moment, shoot on over to our video portion on YouTube, and you can see.
Nino watched me dance to the song just to let you
He
know.
was excited, let me just say.
I don't get song excited, but just the way the beat was.
You could have been
it
the
was
Super Bowl
popping.
performance,
Honestly,
the way you were.
this was so good.
And then the last song we had was, The Darkness. She talks about
Darkness,
that
yeah.
she needs to go
Now,
see
this
one
was
more
sad.
ex, and it was The Darkness is her ex.
Tyler.
It was Tyler. It was her inner demons and her struggle with everything that she's been going through, and it's the struggle of her trying to face that person that this is just surrounding her whole life.
Yeah, it's this person that's always going to be a part of her that she's going to have to fight off her entire life, but she will sometimes give in to.
Yeah, who will most likely never go away with her disorder.
Which is such a great comparison to put it as an ex, because there is those exes that like
linger.
well, it's like they ask people, girls and guys, why do you keep going back to this person when you know it's unhealthy? And that's it. It's like you can't it's just that
explain it
something
sometimes.
you can't explain it. But it's just this person. It's just this thing that keeps drawing you back in, even though you know it's not good for you.
Yeah.
It sounds very personal, Brady.
No, I feel you though. I feel you.
I'll say this.
That sounds like a Tumblr post.
I didn't like this song, but it was amazing.
You like the context of it?
It was everything about the song was amazing. It was very well executed, very well written, very well thought out, very well done. The lyrics, the melody, everything was just so well done on the song. I would have definitely have liked the song had I A, liked Unhappiness, or B, had not just heard I'm Not Sad You're Sad, which is going to be my thing.
His anthem for 2019, I'm
my
not sad,
God.
you're sad.
Oh my gosh, I love that song.
But let's get into our next special segment, which is the Rebecca Bunch Crazy
We
Meter.
could actually have one this
We
time.
actually have one this time.
Oh, crazy?
Don't mind if I do.
Yes, that is Homer Simpson leading us into our crazy meter. So this is this segment where we give her a rating of 1 to 10 on how crazy we thought she was this episode. This is not us trying to be derogatory in any kind of way. It's literally just because the show is called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Tehran, what do you give her?
2. I'm going to give her a 2, a solid
so-
2.
You gave her like a 6 last, or no, you gave Nathaniel. 6.
I
But
think
sorry, we gave it
they're all-
Nathaniel.
We're giving her a 2?
Crazy meter.
I'm giving her a 2. I feel like
Smiling.
she may or may not have, regressed back into her old ways, but she's saying I'm not sad, you're sad. So how crazy
2.
could she be?
All right.
I give her a 2. She's pretty normal. People go through things. She had a couple too many drinks. She's Jewish.
All right, Nino.
I'm gonna add 5 on that and give her a 7. We've seen her do crazier things, but she did spiral back, and she wasn't going to therapy. She wasn't
I
doing
have a
all this other
question.
stuff.
Okay, let's go through the list. Did she attempt to murder anyone?
No.
This is not where we're gonna.
Was
no,
she?
we're not gonna fight on it. It's everyone's individual things, and we also don't have the time. I'm gonna give her a 6, partly because of like not going to therapy, like stopping doing all of the stuff that she'd been working so hard on, but also for trying to sleep with literally 2 people just to feel better.
She paid for Raging Water tickets, and the guy didn't appreciate it. You know how expensive those tickets are?
They're not
This
that
is a
expensive. They're
2.
like $30 a ticket.
$30 a ticket?
Anyway, so that's our. Let us
his
know if you guys in the comments below what you think her crazy meter score should be for this week, and what your favorite song from this week was. We have some news and gossip though.
Yeah. Let's do it. So Josh put this on his Instagram recently. There's actually going to be a concert special directly after the season finale on April 5th, which they're actually filming. It's not going to be live. They're going to be filming it in March, and you can get tickets to it, actually.
And since we only have 6 episodes left, that means that there are going to be some weeks coming up that we will not have an episode if their finale is April.
They're going to be stretching it a little bit. So, yeah. So, I think you can go.
This is nothing new, by the way. They've done this. Not this particular one, but they do a live show. They do a tour.
Yeah, they do a tour, yeah.
And
this one,
do a tour.
they're just going to film this to air right after.
This is going to be on the CW. You can actually go on thevulture.com. There's a link to it there. They do great recaps also of the show if you want to get a little bit more insiders or whatnot. But at the bottom of that, you can actually click that, or you can go to Vincent Rodriguez's Instagram and click the link there as well, too.
Cool. Yeah, so check that out, and we'll be excited to see that on April 5th.
Yeah.
Let's get some predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Tehran?
You know, I don't know if Greg and Rebecca can make it past this, meaning that Greg might realize that Rebecca's not the best thing for him right now. I think that Nathaniel's growth is going to lead to something possibly happening, and I think that what was your friend's name from last week? He's gonna
Xavier.
Yeah, his dream of Nathaniel.
He's a big Nathaniel fan.
Yeah, it's gonna come true. And I think that Paula dies. Okay, maybe she doesn't die, but
You don't want her to die.
I want to know why we don't get to see any more Scott.
Yes, me too. I'm sad about the whole Scott thing. If it's got a couple more episodes and Paul is sick, I would expect him to be there. And I'm sad he's not going to be there.
Maybe they're just focusing on her workplace more than in her home.
So for my prediction, I feel like it's coming to a situation where I think Rebecca's going to realize she doesn't need anybody at the moment. She really needs to concentrate on herself. So I think towards the end of the season or towards the end of the series, she might not end up with anybody, and she just needs to end up with herself to help fix herself and keep her moving along, and maybe some sort of future area. If there's a spinoff somewhere, maybe she'll be with Nathaniel. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I made like a similar prediction last week where I don't think she'll wind up with anyone. But I think for next episode, the preview showed us getting kind of the girl group back together, but in the hospital. So we're definitely getting some more Heather and Valencia next week.
Valencia's still here, or is she going back and forth in New York?
They said that she's here until the end of the season.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
The season of Valentine's Day.
Right.
So I think we're gonna battle in between this Nathaniel Greg thing until the end, and I think they're gonna try to do a Valentine's Day special thing for the end potentially, where she then realizes that she needs to step away from both of them.
And it just needs to be all three of them.
You know what,
I don't think
guys?
Josh is even in the picture. He's just in the picture for some penis when she wants it.
There you go.
I'm not sad.
You're sad.
You're sad.
Well, guys, that does it for our coverage of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend for this week. Until next week, where can they find you guys to keep up?
Find me at I Am Tehran all across the board. That's at IAMTEHRAN. Hopefully, I'll have my voice back by the end of the day. I need it by tomorrow. And also, I host a slew of other AfterBuzz shows. Find me.
And you guys, you can catch me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm here every Thursday for the X on the Beach After Show for MTV.
And you guys can find me at Bri_Phipps, PHIPPS on Twitter and Instagram. I also just finished filming the season of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is also another female-driven, very smart comedy. If you want to go check that out. We also have a ton of great comedies. Crashing is another one from HBO. SNL we do. So if you want shows that are like this one, go check those ones out as well. Until next week, though, see you guys later.
I'm not sad, you're sad.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.